I think the topic that we chose today was school dress codes, and that would tie into that where, should we really, people went back to school. So should we really be limiting them as to what they're wearing? And I know there are a lot of factors in that. It doesn't look that professional. Some of the things, like if you give people too much freedom, what are they gonna do with it? Especially at a growing age, that's important, right? What do you think about that? Like, what do you think about the dress code system? And let's start with that.
Well, first off, it's incredibly sexist.
Mm-hmm.
It's only really for women and, female identifying individuals that just, they want to dress in a way that they feel comfortable. And the school is saying, no, that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't feel comfortable in what you're wearing. You need to be exactly this or you're going to distract the boys. Like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. Continue explaining.
I mean,
I share the same sentiment, but continue.
If anything, the boys are kind of distracted already. They're just, they're doing their thing. Whatever. But that shouldn't, you should not be to blame on what their attention is on.
Yeah, I mean, you were born that way. Like, I feel like you were born, and you're born to have different private parts.
Yeah.
And I say like private parts because that's like correct, socially correct or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like that's what you were born with, and that's what it is. And if it causes any discomfort to you, like personally, it's weird to think about for other people, but a lot of people like me, like my chest is like bigger, so it's not always comfortable for me to have to like conceal that in a professional setting, because the clothes aren't, especially that, like some clothes aren't built to house my body.
Yeah. No,
That's
professional
another thing.
Clothes stink. They're the worst because I never feel comfortable in them, and I'm glad, hopefully I will never be in a position where I have to do that every single day, because I just can't take it. I want to dress like a 12-year-old boy sometimes.
Yeah.
But
especially when you're like feeling a certain kind of way, like you're sick or you're not feeling, you just want to be comfortable. And I think it's a misconception, right? That people are like, oh, you can't be like productive if you're wearing comfortable clothes. And you're just like, no, I can. This puts me in a better mood than if I were wearing like uncomfy clothes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just horrible. I mean, the thing about especially dress codes in school, dress codes in the workplace, most of my experience has to do with school, I think. And I would always be afraid to, do my own thing, because in middle school, we would have, if you cut the dress code and you didn't have adequate, like, change of clothing or something, then you'd have to wear this big, oversized neon shirt all day.
That's awful. That's
isn't
actually
that
funny, but it's horrible. It's like, why?
It's comical, but it's like, it's shaming. It's shaming these poor 12, 13, 14-year-olds that have changing bodies, and they can't do anything about it except just try to be comfortable. So that's something that always kind of resonated with me. But in the workplace too, going, to present and future me, I mean, it is a situation. I think there are times when definitely you should look professional, but what does professional mean? Because to a lot of people it means different things. In Cali, LA, it's business casual. Business casual is like jeans and a nice shirt or something. Over on the East Coast here, we we have a certain way of, if we aren't wearing some nice
business
skirt,
casual is not jeans.
It's not at all.
It's not. If you see denim, it's definitely casual and not anything close to business.
Yeah. And it's like, why is that? What makes you more productive in that clothing than when you're comfortable in your own skin, in your own style?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so important, that it's kind of just making the generic worker. And every person is different in their own way. I mean, everything we have as our personalities, it's fluid. It's something that's just a snowflake to you. And if you can't express who you are through what you are on the outside, it's just not going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where this, you know, like people get mental issues because they were restricted to express themselves when they should be free to do so, as long as they're not, you know, as long as no one is getting hurt. Why not? I agree. Let's relate that to, you know, like the Me Too movement and how that ties into like just women not being able to wear what they want because for fear of people taking advantage. Yeah. Which is what that is. People do take advantage of just like a lot of women are still, to my, like, I'm not, you know, like I'm not surprised, but also like I'm really not happy about it. And it's super sad that women still have to be objectified and have to go through these things where they're assaulted because of what they're wearing, because of who they are, because of who they aren't. And that's awful. Do you want to talk about that? Or like,
yeah, absolutely.
Was there a situation you remember fresh from your memory that doesn't have to apply to you, but like that you've seen or that you heard, that you read?
Well, when Harvey Weinstein was, you know, when this whole thing came about, when the Me Too movement came about, it was, you know, nobody was surprised. Nobody was ever surprised because we all knew it was happening.
Yeah,
but it wasn't talked about. It wasn't socially acceptable to talk about these things. And now that women have come out and confronted this issue, it is something that we can connect to as individuals who are just prone to get this kind of attention from big, scary men that could potentially do something to your job. It's a horrible power play. It's manipulative. It's just everything in between. And, you know, that kind of attitude and that social norm is something that we need to stop. I mean, I was afraid coming into such a man and like male heavy industry.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid that I was not going to get taken seriously and I would be hired just because I looked a certain way.
Yeah.
But, or maybe I'm not hired.
You're not hired because you don't look a certain.
Yeah. I'm too feminine. I'm too, you know, I look like I'm not going to get the job done, even though my credentials say differently. It's a challenge, and it's something like I said, Women's Audio Mission and Sound Girl specifically, they really strive to get those norms out of that way because it's not okay. I mean, we are just as capable as any man out there.